Buddy. Okie doke. So today I'm going to talk about the features that I love on my sewing machine. And I know a lot of you have high-end sewing machines and you'll want to see if yours have it. Like what are the things I love and the things I go to every single time. So I know what happened was I clicked the wrong button. I clicked the mute button. You can't take me anywhere. So you sent in, before we get going, you guys sent in some pictures, not a lot today, but let's go through this. Okay, this is Suzanne's. And Suzanne said two things in her comment to me. I think it was Suzanne. It was either Suzanne who asked this or Yolanda. I forget. But anyways, um, about blocking it before sewing on the borders. Guys, you can't block silk. I learned that the hard way. It's not forgiving like cotton is, which is why whenever I'm working with silk, I always do things that I can square up on the edge. So if you want to add a border, go ahead, add a border, but it's not, you can't whip it into shape like you can cotton, okay? And also where that area is, where your sashing is, Suzanne, I don't think I would just stitch in the ditch. I don't know what I would do there. It looks like you've purposely avoided it, and that's a design decision, and that's fine. But I would not just stitch it in the ditch, and I'll tell you why. It's just going to push it right up into your face. And now um, I got to show you some other things that Suzanne's here too. You're going to have a heart attack. She sent me some close-ups. Look at that perfect stitching. I have not finished mine because I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's why for those of you who are sending us pictures of your completed project, I thank you very, very much because I still haven't decided what I'm going to do. Look at the center of that circle. Just your stitches are over the flippin' top, Suzanne, over the flippin' top. Here's another one, I think. Oh yeah, we did that one. Okay, wait. Yeah, we saw them. I found these in the forum. So if you go in there, people, and start looking around, your brains are it's gonna be, which is wonderful. That's why it's there. Okay, Yolanda, you're the one that asked how should you finish it, Yolanda? I don't know. Your fearless leader has freaked out. But again, I've got it. I don't know if I'd hand stitch it. I don't know if I would just leave it as it is. I don't know. But I have a great appreciation for your little buggets at the bottom. Absolutely love it. The other thing I'm going to do after we do my show and tell of my machine and the features I love, John will be taking questions. All right. He's going to be writing them down. He's not going to come in and interrupt me, but I'll take questions at the end. All right. And so here, let's just say, oh, the other thing is International Quilt Weekend. I'll talk about that at the end because there's some questions coming up about that. But the main thing is I want to get focused in here and tell you my machine. Okay. So let's just start now. I have been in the BERNINA family for about 37 years. I was 38, however old my daughter is, that long. And I have seen a lot of innovations come through with the BERNINA family, as well as all sewing machine families. It's amazing what we are enjoying today compared to what we enjoyed, say, 35 years ago. Now, I know a lot of machines have similar features. And there are some exclusives on my machine, and typically when that happens, I believe I'm making this up. I could be lying. My pants could be on fire. But like for instance, the knee lift, the freehand sewing system, the knee lift, BERNINA had invented it. They had an exclusive on it for 20 years. Then that was over, and then everybody got it. So, I mean, the machine companies are certainly looking at each other and seeing what is unique and how they can improve and this and that. Full disclosure, I have been working very tightly with BERNINA maybe 20 years, okay? And yeah, that's about right. And they have an ambassador program where they will lend people machines, but then when it's time to return it, you have the option of buying it or not buying it. When I was traveling around the United States, like 30 days a year, they wanted to make sure I had the newest machine in my hand, obviously, so that I could talk about the features. The machine that I am sewing on today is a 765. I own this machine. I bought it in a Jenny Lyons class. I had a mid 700 series in my sewing room on loan. And when I sat in my class and sewed on this thing, I I called John and I said, I'm going to buy it. And he said, go ahead. Not like I have to ask permission, but you know what I mean? It was hard for me to rationalize buying it when I had a loaner in my house. But I sewed on it for a day, and also it had rose gold plate on it. So I kind of like my gold. So, um, um, Molly, you guys, I'm not going to do questions on this. I have to keep here, and I'll take questions at the end. Okay, sorry, Molly. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be demoing on my 765 Bernina. They, unlike other companies or some companies, they name the machines, you know, like the Dream Machine or this or that. Bernina goes by numbers. This is not their top of the line. Their top of the lines are like 800 series, and I have no need for that. The 700 works just for me. So, what are some of the things that caught my attention about this machine? Well, one of the things is, and this is gonna be a little difficult to show. I've got two cameras, but it is this huge space in here. I think it's called the harp. I'm not sure. This was a game changer for me, all right, to have this, especially when I was doing machine quilting on this particular machine. Now I have the Q20 and I do my machine quilting over there. So this is a game changer. A lot of brands have the big harp. Is that what it's called, I think? All right. I got an email from somebody the other day, and they said, they're having their 20% sale off this week. What are the feet that I use? I have got a trillion Bernina feet, I'll tell you straight up, but I had to really think about what are my go-to. Okay, I love my 1/4 inch foot, and there are different kinds of 1/4 inch foots within Bernina, but I have settled on the 97D. Yes?
Throat,
Throat? No, I think it's called a harp.
and then the sale is all a month.
Okay, and the sale is all month with Bernina. Okay, the set 97D I like. It's different than the 37, which is the one we used forever and ever. It's got a little bit bigger side on the left-hand side, and it just helps grab the feed dogs. All right, so I love this. I have the dual feed on my machine, so I want the D here. You have to have this D here in order to engage. So that's foot number one. The next foot, I've got a really snazzy foot holder suitcase, and these are the ones I keep right next to me in a pot. The next one I love is the 20D, and this is the embroidery foot, and I like it because it's open and I can see what's going on. Also, on the back here, it has this indentation where the stitches just kind of feed in, okay? Again, this is a 20D. You don't have to have the D, it's just the one I use on here. So here's 2 feet I love. And then they have a ton of different free motion quilting feet. It's a darning foot. They have some that are open, some that are closed, some that are oval and rectangle, or oval and clear, whichever one you want. But I love this. And then I also have gotten into ruler work, and this particular foot is beautiful. And I don't know the number, but if you just say you want the ruler foot, it's got a higher lip here, and then the ruler can just go along with it. Then last but not least, I do have a walking foot. Now it's interesting because a lot of people will say you don't need the walking foot because you have the dual feed. No, I want the walking foot. When I'm using 3 layers, like when I'm quilting a quilt, I want this. Now, one of the tricks that I do on my Bernina is if I'm using this walking foot, theoretically, for say straight line quilting, theoretically, I don't need to use anything else, but I like to take my Quilter Select ruler and butt it up against this dark area here as a second seat belt. So when I'm stitching, this helps keep the line a lot straighter than if I'm just eyeballing it. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. These are the feet I love, and I can guarantee you that other brands have equivalents. The other thing, oh, okay, the other thing is it's a game changer are the size of the bobbins. They're just flippin' huge. This is a standard bobbin, and then this is my big one for this machine. And when I put my 90 weight thread on this bobbin, I probably have at least 50% more on here. So I could be sewing until the 4th of July before this thing runs out. That's a biggie, all right? So when you are one of the really, I just don't quite even know the right direction to go. Let's talk about your throat plate. If you have a machine, any brand that's got this wider feed dog area, you might well want to get yourself a single hole throat plate, because even though I'm using my 1/4 inch foot, um, this really does help get your perfect stitch. The throat plates are super easy to change. You just go like that. Here's a wider one. Okay, you just press this button, which may not seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal if your machine you have to unscrew them. So the takeaway on this is if you've got a wider feed dog, get yourself a single hole throat plate. It might well come with your machine. I'm just saying, it might well. Now, the other thing, let me go through some of the buttons on this machine. Well, before we go there, I want to show you one other thing. On my machine, okay, I want to put back on this 1/4 inch foot. Super easy to change the feet, and then I'm going to engage the equal dual feed. When I am sewing, and I'm going to use this as the outside edge of my 1/4 inch. No, not really. I'm going to use, there's a little that most of the Berninas have, this little tag mark right here. It's so little and so minute, it's tough to see. Yeah, there you can see it right there. And if your machine doesn't have something like this, you would be well spent to put a ruler under, identify the 1/4 inch, and then run some tape there. That's what we used to do in the olden days, because the truth of it is, once you start piecing and it goes in there, it's too late. So you want to use this as your guide. Now, there is another foot and I know other machines have this too, that has like a flange that comes down here. I will use that for strip piecing, but as far as for regular piecing, I want this because see this here? This is so cool. This is a completely open area where my little thread's in the way, where I can see what's going on. There are many 1/4 inch foot feet on machines where it's circle here and then it comes in like this. I prefer the openness. All right. Okay. Now, I didn't tell you the number one reason I bought my very first Bernina. The number one reason I bought my very first Bernina was, I call it the knee lift. All right. And that goes into your machine, and just by, look, I'm going to say, look, Ma, no hands. I can go like this. I have taught classes where people on many different machines have what we call the knee lift and they don't use it. And I say to them, if anything else out of this class you're going to do is you're going to use that knee lift, because essentially you've just grown yourself another set of hands, because your hands then are totally free when you are down here. I mean, I can manipulate all of this and I'm not having to reach behind. And if you're used to reaching behind, that's a weird habit that is going to be tough to break, but this will become second nature to you. Okay, the other thing, okay, let's go over to what some of the basic functions on the machine are. And I'm going to have to move this. Close your eyes, all right? Whoops. Okay, that's not coming over here. Okay, well, first of all, let's take a look at the whole machine, the breadth of the whole machine. Isn't that rose gold beautiful? It's just beautiful. She said to me, I've got to go home with you, Mommy. There we go, all right? So in the middle is your little computer screen, okay? Over here, you've got function buttons that I'll tell you about. Over here, you've got zigzag, you've got straight stitch, and you've got needle position. All right. So this is all you're dealing with. And while it might look a little confusing at first, it's not. You get used to it. And I say this with any machine is that when you get a high-end machine or a machine with many, many features in it, you're going to find that it's like an onion. I just learned something about this machine yesterday, okay? You take the first layer and then you do the next layer, the next layer, the next layer. Okay, this means you're ready to stitch and you can go. And I believe it also means you could sew without your foot pedal. I never do that. This is needle up, or no, this is presser foot up and down. So there you go. Okay, here's scissors, which I love my scissors. I love, 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 love. And then here is reverse. All right. Now, one thing really cool about the presser foot, let me pull this up. The presser foot is programmable too. All right. So you can, okay, this is how you put the gas on, right, people? If you click this down here, it will take it will take a stitch, a half stitch. Okay. So that is really helpful. It might seem, some of these things you might go, well, that's dumb. And then you go, oh, that's not so dumb after all. I love that feature. All right. So over here, which camera are we on now? Let's go here. All right. So over here, we also have needle up, needle down, which means that when you press it, and it will change it. Why isn't it letting me do that? It will change. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can also use this in lieu of your foot pedal, okay? But if you want your needle to always end down, you just press that little icon. Now it's ending up, or I want it down. And then again, you can use the little foot pedal or whatever to make it go the other way. You'd never have to really reach over to the thing on the side, the wheel, all right? So let's go speed control, okay? I love the speed control. And actually, I learned in David Taylor's class, here's turtle, here's running speed. And David Taylor's class, his big deal with machine quilting is to get the speed in rhythm and set it of how fast you're quilting. And you don't want to go at jackrabbit speed. Another time I would not want to go jackrabbit speed would be if I had little kids here. Okay, I'd want to push it down. And usually it's set right about here. I very rarely am at jackrabbit speed, all right? So over here, what are some more things I love? Okay, what do I love? What do I love? Okay, over here you have your tension, and it's pretty darn good. Over here you have your foot. Over here, this is really neat, is that like if you're working on real sheer fabric, you can take the presser foot and make it heavier, or you can make it lighter if you're going over a bunch of lumps. You can set your machine to save you from yourself. This thing that says 9mm here, I can go in here and tell it exactly what I'm using. And so that if I try to make it do something else, like let's say I have a single hole throat plate in here and I put on a zigzag stitch, it won't let me do it. It stops me from myself. So it's like a safety measure. Also on the feet, well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, and then what is that? Oh, feed dogs up and down. I'm gonna tell you a secret. When I machine quilt, I leave the feed dogs up. They just give it 10% more help. Okay, then here's your bobbin. It tells you when you run out. Okay, this is an interesting set of buttons. And I think the most important button on here, there's a couple. In here, the gears, that's called, when you get into the gears, you are changing how the factory has set your machine up. So essentially, you can make it your own. So go watch this again if you have this machine and you haven't done this yet. You go up to this, I'm in the factory settings, the little gears. It has, they call these breadcrumbs across the top to tell you where you're at. Okay, I'm gonna go in here. It comes with this knot stitch that when you take a stitch, when you start sewing, it takes like 5 little stitches. Hate it. So I took that off, making it my own. I love the hover mode. And so I go from that very first, the gears, to this little icon here. And then I'm going to go down to, I don't know what this picture represents, but right here, I'm going to go here. And then down in the right-hand corner is this. Press that. Factory default is your presser foot always comes down tight. I like the hover mode. I like the medium hover mode. So I'm going to put that on there. I don't like the high one so much. This is fabulous. And what this means is that when I stop quilting, if my needle is in the down position, the foot will automatically hover. Now, what you need to know about this gear section is think of a factory, think of a garage. When you get in here and you make changes right in here, you can turn your machine off and on, and it will stay with the settings that you have created. Again, you are making your machine your own. And what I like, you may not like. Okay, now let's talk about stitches over here. This is the default that you come up to, and here's standard stitches. I'm really horrible at this part. You can kind of scroll and scroll, and you can get it however you want. Now I'm going to show you something fun. I'm going to put it on zigzag, and I'm going to make it wider. Oh, it's warning me. It's not letting me go wider because guess what, people? I have on the single hole throat plate. And there's a little camera right here that's saying, hey, you can't do that because you've got the single hole throat plate. So it's saving me from myself, all right? But perhaps one of my favorite, okay, let me hit clear. Get out of there. There we go. Perhaps one of my favorite things of all on my machine is what I call the Quilters Playground. And it is, hold on, I want to get rid of it so I can make sure. It is right here. The higher end machines of BERNINA have this, and some of the lower ends do not, but they do have the blanket stitch. And the blanket stitch is like the best on the market, period. Okay, so I'm going to push the blanket stitch. Oh, it's not letting me do my thing. It's saving me from myself. And so I have to lift up my presser foot, change out my throat plate. I know none of you can relate to having the wrong throat plate on and breaking a needle or the wrong foot. I know that doesn't happen to anybody in the world but me. Okay. Hook on, engage the walking foot. Okay, let's go back over here and see what happens. Okay, you can see now it's letting me. It saved me from myself. All right, now when I do my applique, and you guys have seen me do it a million times, what I do is I choose the blanket stitch. I'm going to move it all the way to the right by using the needle position. I'm going to make it, and I'm going to be doing this again, guys, when we do our neutrals quilt, maybe 3.0 long, and watch it change on the screen. I'm going to take it down to about a 1.0 wide, all right? Now, okay, so now look here. You can see how the numbers have turned yellow. That tells me I'm working in an altered stitch. I have changed the stitch. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this stitch. Sometimes when I'm doing applique, I need to go over an area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also move this over here, okay? And then I don't have to double blanket stitch. I can just go around the side of the applique shape. And then I'm going to go to this guy, and I'm going to move it all the way to the side. And I'm going to make this stitch really, really small. Get up there. Like a 0.05. I've got 3 stitches here that I have altered, all right? And so I can start here, where did my little pointer thing go? Here it is. I can start here and basically knot off the end. And then I can do my blanket stitch by going here. See, I can see it on the screen. And then if I have to run around an area where I've already done the blanket stitch, I can go like that, and it will go there. And what you're seeing here is I'm toggling between 3 stitches that have been changed. I believe this is a BERNINA exclusive, and to me, it is huge. All right, so what do? I'm done sewing for the end of the day, and if I turn off my machine, it's gonna go bye-bye because it's not in the factory settings. This is the only thing that doesn't go bye-bye when you turn off your machine. This will go bye-bye. So you got a couple choices. They have this room called favorites, and you can put it in one of the files and keep it for next time. I don't use that so much, and honestly, I don't know why. See, I just came back to it. There it is. So what I do is when I'm done quilting for the day, but I don't want to go through all of this cartwheel, is I take it to the ecology mode, and that's this right here. And it's gone, it's nanite. It's gone bye-bye, all right? And so you know with any of these computer machines that it takes a while to boot up, just like, oh, look at that. Hey, it takes a while to boot up. But not this. You just go like that and you're back. So that is a biggie to me. Okay, the hover mode is a biggie to me. The ecology mode is a biggie to me. To be able to toggle between altered stitches is a biggie to me. All right. Oh, the other thing, a lot of machines come with a horizontal thread spool holder and a vertical, all right? If your machine only has a vertical, this doesn't have anything to do with you, okay? Just listen. If you have both, there's a reason for that. It is the wrap of your thread, all right? So some threads are stacked threads. You're looking at superior right here, stacked. And some threads are wrapped. You're looking at Quilters Select here. Depending on how the thread is being delivered into your sewing machine, this is what you do. If it is wrapped like this, you're going to want it on the on the horizontal one, okay? If it's stacked, you're gonna want it on the up one. And the way you're gonna remember that is it's a chimney stack, okay? That way, stacked thread, chimney stack. Okay, so let me think what else I've got here. I mean, I am just touching on the features of the machine. When I bought this is what I would, okay, John asked me an interesting question. If I could only have one, I've got many machines, and I venture to say that I think you guys do too, okay? And John said, okay, so the 700 series has that big throat plate, and I do think it's called the harp, and the 800 has even a little bit more. If I had to choose between a machine that had the smaller room versus the bigger room, knowing I can only have one machine, that would be a big problem because I don't want to take this machine to workshops. It has these two balls right here, and these are super sensitive, people. When you're picking up this machine, you want to make sure that this doesn't go against your body. They can break. Also, this sucker weighs a lot of poundage. So what would I do? Would I get the 500 series or would I get the 700 if I could only have one? I don't know. I honestly don't know because this machine changed my life. I mean, I wrote a check for this machine, but there's no way I'm going to drag this thing. And then I had the audacity to say to John, well, my guess is these people have more than one machine sitting in their house. That's my guess. And I mean, there are a lot of really super uber low end machines that work just fine, but you're not going to have all the minutia that you have on your higher end machine. Okay. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you is that I went to the BERNINA factory in Switzerland. And yes, their feet are expensive. Yes. Yes, it is a higher end machine as far as spending money, etc. But I've seen it firsthand. You can eat off the floors there. These feet come out in a big giant circle thing, huge, and they're metal, and they go in there, and there are these people. They're just picking at each foot one at a time, polishing it. So it is the real. It's the real deal. Okay. Oh, so now let me see if I have any questions here. You can't just have one. Sue, that's what I said to him. You can't. Well, here's the reason you can't just have one machine. I can guarantee you that if you are on a deadline, it's going to break. Then you are in trouble. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Don't go too far. Rondi, one favorite foot equals the 20.
She loves her 20.
I love my 20 foot. I love my 20 foot. And okay, if you have an older Bernina, they will not, of course the feet aren't going to fit on this, but if even the oldest Bernina, it's got an equivalent to the 20 foot, okay? Use the tie off. Okay, I don't like the tie-off stitch. I like piling up little stitches more. Thank you for that question. I don't use that stitch. Again, I'm just telling you how I do it, and how you do it is, what works for you. Okay, the Bernina sale is, yes, all over the country. United States of America. This is their promotion. Bernina USA is its own jam, and then Bernina International is its own jam. And yes, it's one giant country, but like, for instance, Martin Faber, that used to be president of Bernina USA, he went up to Canada, and so whatever they're doing in Canada does not necessarily reflect what's going on here. It's country by country. And if you're going to buy one of these machines, don't forget, get hold any machine that's over $1,000, get hold of me before I can mail you this, and mail it, and you will send it into Bernina USA, and they will send you back a check for $100. And it's not even a check for a Bernina product. It could be to take yourself out to dinner with your new best friend and celebrate. All right. Okay. You're looking for a great lightweight travel machine, Christy. Would love to see one with a bobbin indicator. Can't travel with my real machine. Any suggestions? Okay, this is what my friend Robin just did. She went into Dave, he's Dublin Sewing Center, love him. And she said she wanted a 500 Bernina. And the reason the 500 is just kind of right under the 600, the harp is not as big. And again, arm, whatever. And she then said to Dave, this is what I cannot live without. And I actually asked her, what are the things you cannot live without? And this is a course for workshops and stuff like that. And let me tell you what she said, all right? And I thank her for doing this for me too, because we all have our own thing. Okay, she said she could not live without the leg lift, the knee lift. Okay, she would not live without needle up, needle down function, meaning you can set it a certain way and then override it when you need to. Speed control. I never thought I would love speed control, but I love speed control. The foot hover mode, which I love, and the single hole throat plate. Again, that can be included or not included in your machine. And then I didn't even think of this, the ease of sewing on thin material and thick material. That's how my very first machine was demoed to me. And then also the ability to adjust the height of the foot. And that comes in when you're doing multiple layers. So she went in and she said, this is what I want. I can't live without. And Dave said, this is what you want. Now, many machine companies have entry level machines. This is true. You just have to really, when you're sewing, understand how dependent you are on certain features, and then that's how you go. And the other thing, when I went to work with Bernina back in the olden days when I traveled all over for them, I did say to Martin, he was the president then, I said, look, main thing is when you're buying a machine, you are buying a dealership. And so you become part of their family. And so you want to go where you are going to get great customer service. That is more important than anything, every single brand. You want to make sure you have customer support. You're not just buying a featherweight, when you get into these high-end machines. You're buying a computer. And again, it's multi-layered and you're not going to learn it all at once. Okay, what else is here? Show the thread holder. Is it towards you or on the back? Okay, let's take a look at the thread holder. So you can see I have I have cross wrap on here, and then this would be the stacked wrap on here. And so again, if your machine only has one, it's no big deal. You just go with that one. So I hope that answers that question. The horizontal is parallel to the machine. Okay. Yes, Dave is wonderful. He gives great customer service. He's in Danville. Okay, Bernina 550 is a mini me of the 790 plus. Lib is saying big bobbin, dual feed, front load bobbin. Yeah, it is a mini me. I know it doesn't have quite the features, but okay. Oh, one other thing I want to say about the 700 series. All right, there's three. There's the entry level 700, that's a joke because it's not an entry level machine. There's a medium machine, and then there's a high end machine in the 700 series. They all have the big throat plate. They've all got the features I've been showing you, but the difference is this. The low end, I hate using that word because it's not a low end. I recommend it to a lot of people. If you have no interest in the Stitch Regulator, and that is a function that plugs into your machine and it helps you get even stitches when you're quilting. There is a learning curve. If you don't care about that and you don't care about embroidery, you don't have to go any higher than the lower end of the 700, okay? If you have, say, a stitch regular from your 440 back in the day, it will fit on that low end, okay? It will fit on. The medium one, which is what I have, and I got it because of the rose gold. Cannot believe that. Well, yeah, I kind of can. The medium one comes with the stitch regulator. It comes with the ability to convert to embroidery. The high end is the whole enchilada. So like, let's say, so you got to just look at which one you want. And the other thing, people, is that when you go to buy a machine, settle on the one you want, any brand, and then look at the next one up. Just look at it and understand whether you want those things or not. I made that mistake with my very first one. Of course, I didn't have any money. I had zero money, but I got a stripped down 990. It was a 991. There were only 2 in California, and I knew within a year I had made a mistake. It might be a harp on your mid-arm, but it's a throat on my domestic. Okay, thank you, Jeannie. Okay. Do you know if toy can permanently change? Do you know if I'm going to say you, can permanently change the presser foot? Mine is set at 70 and constantly changing it to 50. I think when you turn off the machine, in that case, it goes back to ground zero. I don't think that's in the factory settings, but that's a good question for your dealer. I still sew on my Bernina 1230. You know what? I didn't trade in my 1230 either. It's a beautiful machine. Boy, that's back in the day, huh? Okay, so to get the $100 certificate, you've got 1 month to mail it in. You're going to email me at alexandrsn@AOL. I need your snail mail, and then I will pop it in the mail to you, okay? I will get it in the mail, and then you've got 30 days to purchase the machine and get it into Bernina. Barbara Black just told me a couple days ago that it took like 7 weeks to get her money. Okay. Okay. Now see, Cheryl's got it down. She's got her 440 QE. That's her workhorse. And then her featherweight is her traveling machine. John thought it was kind of like gross to say, well, I've got more than one machine. I said, no, I think we kind of all do. Oh, can't travel with your own. I don't know that you're gonna, Christy, as far as getting a machine that is a light travel weight machine with a bobbin indicator, I don't know. That's you're thinking now. You're thinking, and that's when you go into your trusted dealer on any brand and say, this is what I want. And they'll get you in the right machine. Okay, the 1301 has a pile up style of tie off. Just push reverse to get the tie off. Oh, that's interesting, Linda. Okay. All right. Sandy sold one of her machines and she's sorry. I sold my 931 and I was sorry I sold it. I ran into the gal I sold it to, and I'm running really late, you guys. I'm sorry. And I said, if you ever get rid of that machine, I want to buy it back. And she said, sorry, it's going to my kids. So on Friday, we are going to go back to QuiltCon and get some more interviews. I hope this helped you a little bit on what I love with my machine. And I love my machine. I love her. I love her. And had I not, and when you go to buy a machine, sit down and sew on it. It's like when you go to buy a bed, they want you to lie down on it, sew on it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't think, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Go sew on it. I cannot say it enough. Chrissy says, John needs to get a dose of reality. More of us have more than a couple of machines, many more. Don't use them all. Yeah. Oh yeah, Lori, it is Gmail. It's alexandrsn@gmail. Thank you, Lori. Okay. I will see you Friday, and I hope this was informative to you. And have a good one. Bye-bye.